Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will give everybody just another minute to jump on here. I know that 3 o'clock can sometimes be that difficult hour in a school, so I appreciate you joining us. Please note that we are recording this, so if you do need to reference it for any reason, it will be posted on your tournament manager dashboard. Again, I am Lisa Quedno. I am the Minnesota State High School League Associate Director that works with dance. And I just want to take a moment and thank each of you as section tournament managers in your role in hosting section tournament dance. I know it's a large undertaking, and I really appreciate you and your school districts that you work with who host this event to allow for a great event for our member schools. So at this time, I would like to just have Shannon share with you the agenda. We are going to talk about some website items. Laura McIntoon is here to join us and share some things there. We are going to talk about tournament management, some consistency pieces, review some roster items, medical protocols, ticketing after the fact, information you can share with qualifying schools for the state tournament, and then answer any questions you might have at the end. The chat is also open. Should you have any questions, feel free to drop them in there and we will review that. So at this point in time, I will turn it over to Laura, who is going to share some website information with you.
Thanks, Lisa, and good afternoon, everyone. I have some information to share with you about things that you have access to on the website, as well as things that you will create and share for others to have access to. First of all, please make sure that if you are running a section tournament, that you have access to a tournament personnel dashboard. A tournament personnel dashboard has resources specifically for those who are running section tournaments. You may have a coach or an AD or a region secretary dashboard. Each of those has resources specific to that role. You can find your tournament personnel dashboard when you log in. You used to have to go way down to the bottom in the blue band to switch between those two. There is now a way, if you have multiple dashboards next to your name, you can see each of those dashboards and click back and forth between those. If you do not have a tournament personnel dashboard, please contact us at info@mshsl.org and we will get you set up in that role so that you can access that dashboard. If you cannot see your section tournament once you log in, please contact your region secretary and they will connect you to that correct tournament. Once you access your dashboard, you'll find a section that says Section Tournament Management Resources. One of those 3 buttons in the middle says Winter, and in that spot, you'll find access to Section Tournament Management Resources. That is where Shannon, Lisa, and others are putting items that are there specifically for you to run your section tournament. These are things that are not necessarily need to be seen by a coach or an AD or a participant, but they are those things that are specifically for you. After today's meeting, that's where this video will be linked, as well as your section manager guide and other things. Also on your section tournament or tournament personnel dashboard, you'll find a button that says Website Help Guide. Behind that button, you'll find a number of one-pagers that will help you to move through the 3 items that we're going to ask you to do on the upcoming slide. So again, here are those directions on how to do the things that we're asking you to do. Also on your tournament personnel dashboard, you'll find 2 directories, a school directory and a coach directory. If you are looking for information on contacts for coaches, ADs, others within your section, this is your quickest way to do it. You'll find a number of filters here and the ability to download those email addresses into a CSV so that you can copy and paste into your email program. If you're finding yourself out on the public's page of the website, going from site to site, you're working too hard. Those that are here for those who have logins to get to lists of folks back on this side. Moving ahead, there are really 3 tasks that we ask you to complete on the website to provide the best information for everyone affiliated and associated with your section tournament. Number one, we'll ask you to add section event information. We ask you to add information for participants. And then finally, to share schedules and results so that the public can see those. The first one of those is section event information. And again, you have a direction sheet behind that website help guide on where to put that. This is the spot where the dates and the venues go and populate a number of places across the public website, as well as on coaches and ADs dashboards. You might find that many of your region secretaries actually added this information. They have access to this last spring already and start to update this. But please work with them to make sure that you have the correct, accurate information in for the dates and venues for your section tournament. Secondly, we ask you to put information for your participants in this spot. The picture at the top is what a coach and an AD sees on his or her dashboard. My example here says girls volleyball section 2, 3A. This will be dance, and for each of your sections, it is assigned by section. This box for coaches and ADs has 3 sections: the activity resources and the state tournament resources. Those come out of our office and go to every school that has volleyball in this case, or dance in your case. This middle section where it says section tournament resources, this is specific to your section. And again, we know how we get bombarded with emails all the time, and we just want to find things in one place. This is that one place that ADs, coaches, and others go to find those pieces. So there are directions there on how to add a section event resource. This would be any of those things that you would traditionally email out to coaches to prepare for your section meet. Please post those in this section also. You may also email it out for convenience, but those coaches and ADs have come to know that this is that spot where they can find everything. And this is where they're going to go back and look to find that. And then finally, for dance, we have the public who wants to know when and where your event is. Here are some directions on how to add a results sheet and or a schedule. So as you're preparing for your meet, preparing a one-page PDF document that says, here's the meet, here's where the ticket prices are, here's the location, here's the schedule for the day, that should be uploaded in this spot. You might share that exact same document with teams competing, or you might have one that's a bit different. And again, this is where the public will go to see this. And then soon after your meet, also uploading the results for your meet so that those folks know where to find that and can see what happened at your tournament. We hear about it when these aren't there. We get folks all the time looking to attend section events. And this is the first place we'll take them to, is from that dance page, viewing the section events and filtering down. This is where they'll find that information. And then finally, moving on, talking media, just a little bit about reminders about at a section event, media decisions are made by region committees. During the regular season, streaming, media attendance, media access, those things are determined by the school that is hosting a meet or a tournament. At a section level, region committees make those decisions. So as a reminder, please work carefully with your region secretary on any media or streaming requests that you have to make sure that you're doing what your region wants you to do to host those. Lisa, with that, I'm going to turn it back to you to continue with some dance-specific information.
Fantastic, Laura. Thanks so much for that good information. And again, really good resources for you to use to communicate with member schools and participating schools. I'm providing access in this document, as well as you have access in the online tournament manager's guide for some really important information, and make sure that you're aware of the rules book, as well as have a copy of that accessible during the time that you're hosting the section tournament. Make sure you're aware of the forms and working with the chief judge to make sure that the forms they need are available and accessible. Make sure that you're going over your emergency protocols and you have those posted in places needed, as well as making sure that you are sharing the responsibility for spectator conduct. Those are all linked here. We will go over some highlights of these pieces. Tournament management, really important that you are working with your local site level on logistics and other pieces that are really important. There's some really good checklists in the tournament manager guide that help you with some logistics locally to ensure that you have the things you need there. You as the tournament manager working with the region secretary, and then myself. That's my cell phone. Should you have an emergency that day or need some assistance, please feel free to reach out to me. I will do my best to answer as I'm able to. You're also welcome to text me. Perfect. Section tournament management. Confirm that all of the teams assigned in your section are planning to participate. I know that in years past, prior probably to COVID, this is something that we did as a league because we had to look at the balance of the sections, but now this is something that we qualify 3 teams in each section. Therefore, we need to make sure you as tournament managers are confirming that teams are participating in kick and jazz. Tournament managers, make sure you're familiar with dance rules and policies. I know I had a few of you reach out recently on some rule questions and we're working through those, and I appreciate you making sure you're familiar with those. There are no appeals to judges' decisions on scores. I think that's something that's really important to remind member schools and participating teams. Good question, Heather. If a team is not participating, do you need to let us know? It would be really helpful if you could. If you're aware of a team in your section that's not participating in either kick or jazz, it would be helpful for you to just shoot myself and Shannon an email so that we're aware. So I appreciate that question. Focus on consistency, just ensuring that participating teams are aware of and provided detailed schedules. You guys do a great job of that and making sure event times, including mark time and performance order, are shared with teams that are participating. Ensure that teams are following the official squad number and expectations, and we have kind of a detail on the next slide about that official squad number and how it looks. So Shannon, if you want to move to that one. So we are allowed per rule book 3 coaches at the table. It's really important that we adhere to that. Additional coaches can be allowed to sit in the chairs. For note, and you can do this differently at the section tournament, but at the state tournament, we will allow up to 2 additional coaches to sit in the chairs on the floor, along with those alternate dancers and managers. A reminder that coaches must be school approved, state statute following league policy. An email did go out today by Shannon to those member schools who have a coach who has not complied with all of the expectations on the CER piece. And so we are working through that, and we know our member schools will have their coaches have this done by the section tournament. And again, official squad and roster, up to 34 kick dancers with 6 alternates and up to 26 jazz dancers with 6 alternates. You will find on your tournament manager dashboard our roster sheet, and you are welcome to use that at the section level. It should have places for those who need to make sure that you have the right amount of folks. There are allowed 2 student managers, ensuring that they're students and not coaches would be a really important piece with that. And these should be different than alternate dancers. These should be kids who have been managers for the dance team for the school year. Communication, make sure you're connecting with the chief judge that day of the meet to ensure that you understand tiebreaker procedure. They're very good at that, and it's very detailed in the rule book. Just making sure that you familiarize yourself with that. Making sure that we are working through the performance injury procedure for postseason, and we have worked with some member schools on that as we've had a few instances this year. So just making sure you're familiarizing yourself with that. And then a plan for communication if there's a need to have your rules committee make a decision. That would be an important piece. How is that going to look? And talk with your region secretary about that. to make sure that you are following the procedure of the region. And then there are no appeals, and I mentioned that before. Team video operator, this is something that some of our region secretaries have been talking about, and we are managing this at the state tournament. Team video operators will be on the team admittance form, and they will be someone who is designated by the school at the state tournament to video that particular team. And this is something that you should work with your region secretaries on, how you would like to handle team video operators at the section level. We do have some specific language around the role of this person that we will use at the state tournament. That is posted on your tournament manager dashboard, and you are welcome to use that as it's appropriate. Your venue may be very different than the target center, and we appreciate and respect that. Just really important to stress that some of these folks work with schools all year long, and so they're very familiar with those schools, and they need to be where you want them to be. And at the state tournament, they won't be in dressing rooms and those types of things. And I think it's important to protect our students in that venue. So making sure that you work with your region secretary on the language that you would like. And then we have the medical procedures, really making sure that you have medical coverage for your section tournament event. Most of the time you have a certified athletic trainer there, and they are the one who will be working through your medical procedures, making sure that your emergency action plan is up to date and communicated with those that you need to be communicating with. Please make sure you have a delineation between school personnel medical, a team that brings their own athletic trainer, versus the tournament staff athletic trainer. The final word and the return to play protocol lies with that tournament staff athletic trainer that your region hires, and making sure that that communication is clear. And you also have those release of care forms if a school does bring their own athletic trainer. A few things just to follow up. I know in the past, quite a few years ago, you would get packets for those teams that qualified for the state tournament. You will not get packets from us for those teams. All of that information for teams who qualify for the state tournament will be on the coach dashboard as well as the AD dashboard. A few things you can help those qualifying schools remember is that they need to communicate with Philip and Shannon with their ticket spreadsheet. And we have some dates and timelines here for those different weeks that we have sections. And those schools can reach out to us should they have questions when they qualify. The dance ticket order form will be found on the coach's dashboard under tournament resources. So you can point them that direction for those teams that qualify for the state tournament. Some other general information to just make sure you are aware of and communicating with your region secretary on is inclement weather plan. Most of you hold your section events on a Saturday or a Friday night, so make sure that you have a plan if you are feeling like inclement weather is going to impact that section tournament. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that none of that happens, but making sure we're communicating. And then merchandise, make sure that you're communicating with your region secretary on region approved merchandise being sold at your section tournament event. Wrap up, again, really making sure that you update that results page. There's lots of people who are always excited to see the results of our section tournaments. And so you can update that results page the same way you uploaded that schedule in a PDF that Laura showed you at the beginning of this event or this meeting, and get those results updated. Make sure that those results also get sent to Shannon and myself after your section tournament. And then information will be sent electronically to qualifying teams. Please make sure you share that with teams and coaches as they qualify. They will get an email from Shannon. Expect to have a participating schools meeting on Sunday, February 11th at noon. And it's really important that the head coach and administrator attend that meeting so that they have all of the details needed. State dance is a quick turnaround with electronic ticketing and those assigned seats for the preliminary round. So making sure we can get all of that information in a timely manner. Those are the biggest pieces for wrapping up. And I will check questions, merchandise at dances that are pre-approved design. We don't have that. I would say that's something that Mitch, you should work with your region secretary on to make sure that they are aware and it's approved through that process. Great question. And again, thank you so much for all of the work that you do to make state and section dance great. Our coaches and our participants really appreciate the work, and we know it's a heavy lift, but it's also lots of exciting times for our kids. So I will stay on if there are any other questions. Thanks again for your time.